Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahabushai, Bahasham, Rakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahabushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'll be profiling a little bit of this video from Patrick Humphrey's YouTube channel titled Alert. Multiple U.S. cities go into lockdown. Police set up checkpoints to enter. And as we'll see in this clip, you've got mayors in several U.S. cities saying that they're going to set up, as I said, police checkpoints and other restrictions to keep Trump's people, when he comes into office, from coming in and, detaining those migrants and deporting them. So what does this sound like? Division within the United States of America, which is exactly what's supposed to be taking place according to biblical prophecy. And it's going to get to the point to where it's going to get violent out here. Civil unrest, civil violence. But before we start, I'm going to get 2nd Esdras chapter 15 in the Apocrypha, chapter 15, verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. What does that sound like? A lockdown, restrictions, some kind of state of martial law, which, as we'll see in this clip, this is a perfect example of that. And we're going to see even more instances of this take place as we get closer and closer to Jacob's trouble and all hell breaking loose, whether it be from the migrants, another possible pandemic leading to health lockdowns, civil unrest leading to a state of martial law and lockdowns, theist attacks, whether foreign or domestic, causing another situation like the Boston bombings, a decade or so ago, etc., etc. But I'm going to play about the first 5 minutes or so of this clip. And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this video, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
This is big breaking emergency news. Multiple major U.S. cities are now going into lockdown, and they are announcing checkpoints, police checkpoints at the city limits of their cities, and they're going to be keeping certain people and individuals out. This is now being announced inside the U.S., multiple major cities. Let's get into the details here really quick, guys. Please just hit that like and hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on this big urgent news, and it just helps to get these warnings out. I appreciate that. So this is now being announced in Denver, in Los Angeles, and also Chicago. The authorities there, the mayors there, are saying that they are going to send the police to the borders of their city and set up checkpoints to keep out federal agents and ICE agents that are a part of the Trump administration. That is what they're saying. This is a quote from the Denver mayor. It says, more than just having the Denver police station at the county line to keep them out, we will also have 50,000 Denverites there. He said it's like the Tiananmen Square moment with the rose and the gun, right? And you'd have every one of those Highland moms who came out for the migrants, and you don't want to mess with them. All right, so
And Albaratazad, this situation doesn't sputter out, but intensifies. But back in 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men. And the definition for sedition is conduct, physical actions, or speech, inciting open rebellion against a ruling authority or monarch. As Patrick Humphrey just said, you had mayors in several cities talking about how they're going to set up those police checkpoints and have other people along their borders as well to keep federal and ICE agents under the Trump administration. What that comes in, out to keep them from deporting those migrants. Hey, that's seditious talk, going against, the government and invading one another. Hey, it getting violent. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And your modern day kings and princes are these people in the government, like the mayors, the governors, the senators, the president, as well as the authorities that uphold the system, like the military or the police. And even before Trump gets inaugurated, you're having a lot of people saying they're going to not regard his policies. And you're having people saying, look, if he gives the military particular orders, you don't have to follow them, and you can, leave your post. Hey, we're coming into some very hectic times. 2024 was labeled the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, and 2025, it remains to be seen what the theme of that year is gonna be, but we know it's gonna be very explosive. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Everybody's gonna do what they think, is necessary to do in these times of Jacob's trouble we're coming into.
He's saying he's going to send police and set up checkpoints to keep ICE and federal agents out of the city. Okay, so it's kind of ironic that he's setting up internal checkpoints inside of his own state when he supports the federal government's borders to be wide open. So he wants to keep certain people out of Denver, but he wants the United States to be wide open. So that's what's happening in Denver. Also, the Los Angeles mayor, Karen Bass, announced a very similar plan as well too, and they just voted to be a official sanctuary city. This is also being planned inside of Chicago right now as well too, and the Illinois governor has also backed the plans as well. So this is spreading. We could see more major U.S. cities come to a standoff. And I want you to listen to this really quick too. This is the Denver mayor, and he is actually sending people that show up in Denver to Utah. All right, the Utah governor had to come out and say, stop sending people that arrive in Denver to Utah. Stop busing people over here across state lines. That is what the Utah governor was telling the Denver mayor. So he's also shipping people out as well too. He's sending people to other cities and other states, but he doesn't want to allow the federal government to remove these criminals that have a final removal order from ICE. So let me know what you think of this below, and listen to this really quick. This is a report on the Denver mayor sending these people over to Utah.
Border crisis overwhelming even self-declared sanctuary cities across the U.S. Denver's mayor is now taking criticism tonight for shipping migrants out of the state after declaring his city a sanctuary for immigrants. Utah's GOP governor wants the policy to end. Senior correspondent Alicia Acuna reports tonight from Denver.
Utah Governor Republican Spencer Cox is demanding the sanctuary city of Denver stop sending illegal immigrants to his state. A city official confirming to Fox News in the last 18 months, Denver has purchased about 2,000 bus and plane tickets to Salt Lake City and has sent immigrants to every state in the country, insisting they do not push them to specific locations, but to, quote, where they may have support networks or job opportunities. Governor Cox says his state can offer migrants neither. On X, posting, Utah's resources are completely depleted. His office later telling us they didn't find out about Denver's plan until mid-May. Democrat...
Just complete division taking place between, these Edomites and these government and Edomites in these different states. And what did Yahushua say in Mark chapter 3, verse 24? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And outside of this issue, when you look at these average Americans out here, they're divided on damn near every level you can think to be divided on. But let's go to Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, And this is talking about the modern day spiritual Egyptians as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8. These Americans, these American Edomites, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city. And what are we seeing in that clip? Some states and cities having divisions with other states and cities over this whole migrant issue. And Patrick Humphrey even said, hey, we could see, more states, more cities within these states join this cause and just create more, division out here, and kingdom against kingdom. And, it said they shall fight. It's going from throwing words right now, and it's going to get to the point to throwing lead at each other. And add on top of that, a coming economic, depression, food shortages, the looming threat of World War III, all these other, chaotic instances out here. That's going to put people even more on edge to fight for their own survival and fight against, their fellow Americans.
Denver Mayor Mike Johnston's office insists it's been incredibly transparent in managing the 42,000 immigrants who've arrived there since Texas Governor Greg Abbott began busing them to sanctuary cities. In December, the mayors of Chicago and Denver said they were overwhelmed.
The rogue buses that are being dropped off across this country in the middle of the night, leaving people with no real support at all, no coordination with the local municipalities.
We just want it to be coordinated and in a humanitarian way, which we think makes it effective for the city and for those newcomers.
They seem to think that we should be giving them a place to stay.
Judy Dowd runs the Rescue Mission nonprofit in Ogden, Utah. She says they are at capacity. One night, a bus dropped off 8 immigrants unannounced, and they had to turn them away.
Nobody could speak English, and we didn't have the beds for them.
The Salt Lake City Mayor's office told me their city has not paid to send migrants to other communities and doesn't plan to do so. Brett?
All right, so
that's it with this video. But hey, divisions within the United States of America continue to intensify and get that much more deep. And like I've been saying throughout the video, hey, people are just talking and taking little actions now. But as the environment out here gets more chaotic, hey, these people are going to get more violent. Back in 2nd Esdras chapter 15, I'm going to read verses 14 to 15. Woe or destruction to the world and them that dwell therein, because Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua is about to bring great judgment on this place for all the wickedness these people have been committing. And it's going to be a time like no other, as it says in Jeremiah 30 verse 7 and Daniel chapter 12 verse 1, the time of Jacob's trouble, which is going to be worse than any, horrific event in human history that you can think about. For the sword, hey, not talking to each other and politicking, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people, and that can go into many things, one political group against each other, one racial group against each other, class warfare, religious and scientific ideology, gender warfare, etc., etc. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And the modern day sword in America is the gun. And remember in Isaiah 19 verse 2, brother shall fight against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, horrific violence at all levels. But I'm going to close it out in 2nd Esdras 13 verse 31. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, which we're seeing the beginning stages of right now from that clip dealing with these different cities and states over this migrant issue and how they want to handle it. One place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the cherry on top is Yahushua making his second coming, the heavenly realm fighting against the realm of man. Hey, to put an end to the rule of these heathens, chiefly of these Edomites, so-called white people. But that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere, Akim, and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.